Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what we've got today. We've got the Speedy, which I believe I have done already, but let me take a look here. And as it turns out, we have not, so let's go ahead and grab a weapon and see what we get. Alright, we've got the Quarterstaff. I'm pretty happy with this. It will help give us the armor that we are missing with the medieval weapon tag, and the additional HP is good. Also, it's just a fairly solid weapon overall. It doesn't benefit from the melee damage that we get from being the Speedy as much as other weapons, but still a very good pickup, I think. The one downside is because of its very slow attack speed, and because it has this, changed animation between the slash and thrust. It can be difficult to avoid tanking damage with it, which of course is one of the challenges for this character, but I think we can still make it work. We could just take movement speed here, but I'm still going to roll for harvesting. Just so powerful to get early harvesting on every character, and then we're going to roll. Locking a tree. Beanie is worth locking, so we don't actually have to buy additional movement speed on the Speedy. We only get 2 melee damage, and then that's actually only plus 1 melee damage. So I think we're actually not going to buy the Beanie here. We're going to kind of play a low speed Speedy and just use the bonus stats that we get. I'll still buy speed when it's efficient, but I'm going to work on getting my economy online earlier than that. And of course, we're going to get extra damage from levels, so we don't as much need to invest in just pure damage the way that we would be doing. And 30% speed is plenty fast to win the game. In fact, you don't need more than about plus 10 to 15% speed to make things easy. Even that, of course, is just personal preference. Honestly, this is just a strong weapon for this character, which I know is one that gives some people trouble, just because the extra movement speed can be pretty dangerous. So when you have to buy a lot of speed to use the Speedy's passive and then not move all the time, it can be pretty risky for some characters or some players if you're a little less comfortable with moving really fast. I could buy the tree here, but it's going to be more important to just get our Quarterstaffs online and leveled up. They get more XP gain as you level them, and of course the weapon tags are really good, so I'd rather just upgrade our weapons here. But Fertilizer and Tree, of course, are excellent items to have found there. With 8 harvesting locked in the shop, if we find one more harvesting level up, we'll hit 20. And that, of course, is a big breakpoint, because then our harvesting will start going up by 2 every wave. Yep, we'll take this harvesting level up, and then I could take attack speed. Really important to boost your attack speed on a character with a slow attacking weapon that can't stop moving, because if we stop moving, we take minus 100 armor and die in one shot to most enemies, doubles the incoming damage. So I think I will just start building some attack speed, because the main downside of Quarterstaff is just that it attacks slowly. So as long as we can overcome that, we'll be in great shape. I'm going to reroll here for 4. We'll take a Broken Mouth. We'll take a Tree. I could reroll again looking for another Quarterstaff. We are guaranteed to see at least one weapon in the shop here, but primitive and medieval weapon tags mean that Quarterstaff is less likely to show up than other weapons. It's got 2 tags, which dilutes the pool of possible weapons that we can find. And primitive is an enormous weapon tag, so there's a lot of other weapons that could show up in its place. Gonna make sure we break the tree. It feels so good to have all this early movement speed on a character. Speedy's just such a fun character overall. Definitely taking the saltwater. The melee damage, even at 50% scaling, is good. Attack speed is excellent, and the bonus movement speed is good as well. And then here, I'm just gonna take some armor. Making sure that we have good defensive stats is our next main priority. We also have managed to find a bunch of fertilizers, which is really nice, so we're going to go ahead and pick that up. We'll take the Tree and the Broken Mouth, and then we will roll, grab a Quarterstaff, Spyglass is a little more interesting for this character, I think, than for other characters, because range is not horrible on the 175 range Quarterstaff. It doesn't increase in range as you level it, unlike some melee weapons. And it will also, like, we're going to be re-rolling a lot. So I think I will buy the Spyglass here. It's going to take a really long time to pay off, so we're not really buying this for the economy, more because it is a discounted way to buy 10 free range, basically. And because this character's already very strong, so we can afford to buy a couple items that won't pay off for many, many waves. It's probably going to be like wave 15 before the Spyglass has paid off what we spent on it, but in the meantime, we've gotten a little bit of a bonus. So at this point, I just need healing, and because we got plus armor, we can start building dodge too. We have the medieval tag as for a little bit of a head start. I'll take 8 more harvesting just to maintain our income. Let's reroll, and do I want dodge? I could take 45 range as well, but we're already buying a little bonus range, so let's just go ahead and take 6 dodge here. Getting my defensive stats going early will help a lot. And then we can take a penguin and a spyglass, and then we will re-roll here. Defective steroids, I will take. Attack speed is obviously really important for this character, but the bonus HP is nice, and it is still 1 damage on each of our weapons. We will take a quarterstaff. Very happy to grab alien tongue as well. Consumable healing will probably be a big chunk of our healing for a while, because we have no regeneration yet. And this will help a lot, especially because we're speeding past all of the consumables as we drop them. Speaking of dropping them, Lost Duck is great, Bag is great, even at the cost of a movement speed, so I'm very happy with how this run is going so far. We've picked a lot of good items, like we found lots of high-tier items in the shop. The only kind of low-tier item is the Spyglass, which we managed to, which I think we're still going to get decent value out of. And we've also got a strong character with a powerful weapon, so feeling in pretty good shape at the moment. Hard to kill loot aliens sometimes on this character, because when you can't stop moving, you will struggle to focus damage on a single enemy. And if they change direction, you can get really far ahead of them and stuff. Ooh, a second curse alien. Can we get that? Nice. I got it. Unfortunately, it required giving up the tree. Honestly, the tree might have been better, but curse is good and it's extra money as well. I'll take the charcoal here. 1 damage on each of our weapons is fine. And then I think we can do better than 5 luck, so I will reroll. We'll take 9 max HP. Excellent shop for us. We're going to pass on the acid. We've got 50 HP already, so even with a free reroll, I just don't think it's worth it. Pearl is pretty good, but let's go ahead and take the quarterstaff first, because that's more XP gain. And we will take a pearl on this character, because we're going to want to build a lot of luck, and we will hopefully find a free pearl. Also, I just really like pearl. I probably could have let one of those eggs hatch, because our damage is pretty good. So we're going to let the one over to the right here hatch. Usually on the Speedy, you want to kill the eggs, because it's so hard to focus damage on specific characters or specific enemies. But with this build, we're really strong at the moment, so we can afford to let some of the slashers hatch and get a little bit of extra money that way. Especially if we clear the healers so they aren't getting additional HP. Kill this other big slasher for some extra cash, get the tree, and then finish off the last of the enemies before the end of the wave. We made 300 and some on the ground materials on wave 7, so we're in excellent shape. We'll take the charcoal here, and then 15 more attack speed. I do still need regen of some kind. Percent damage would be good, but let's just take armor. I really want to get my defensive stats going as well. Quarterstaff only crits for 1.5x, so we're not going to buy Insanity, but we will take the Pearl. Given that I bought Pearl, I'm going to take Baby Elephant as well. I think there's a decent chance we can be kind of a luck-based build. We'll take Coupon, and then do a reroll, another Quarterstaff, or do I want a Scar? More XP gain is really good. We don't have enough yet just from our staffs that it is worthless to buy additional XP gain. So I think we will buy that. We'll buy the Quarterstaff. We'll buy Cyclops Worm. 1 damage on each of our weapons for 38 with the Beanie. Actually seems fine, so I think we will lock that and go to wave 8 here. Drop no materials from that charger, of course. It's always the first enemy of the wave where you drop no materials so that you can really, you know, notice it and stew in how unlucky you are. So I definitely need some more luck. Also, the one cursed enemy being the armored charger does mean that we're having to spend a lot of damage on that thing. Fortunately, I can just avoid it, and we'll hit it a couple times kind of incidentally. But now we are starting to see the downsides of having no healing at all at this point in the game. Just our consumable healing to go off of. Armored Charger is still alive, of course, because the cursed one just takes so much damage to bring down. So kind of a bad wave 8, but I think we can recover pretty quickly. We're going to recycle the Sharp Bullet here. I'm going to take 2 more armor. I really still want to find some regeneration, but we just haven't been offered good ways to buy it, and that's fine. We don't have to find it immediately. Go ahead and take a Quarterstaff, Cyclops Worm, Beanie, and Small Fish, and then do a reroll. And another defective steroids, 1 damage on each of our weapons and 2 HP seems fine. We're going to pass on the Hedgehog, though. I could buy the Bat. We have no healing at all. Our attacks are very slow, but some lifesteal is still probably worth picking up. So I think just because I wouldn't normally do this, but because the only thing this build is missing is healing, we're going to go ahead and buy the Bat. We'll also take Banner and Quarterstaff as well, of course. Now, this 2 lifesteal will not give us much healing yet, but as we get more attack speed and more weapon levels and maybe find some more incidental lifesteal, like maybe we find a mouse or something, it will help give us the sustain that we need. I'm still going to focus on regeneration over it if we're ever offered a regeneration item of any kind, but the lifesteal is a decent substitute given that we have no healing at all at the moment. Haven't found any consumable healing or anything either, no tentacle or anything like that, though we're not going to build crit chance anyways, but we've got to find some way to sustain ourselves. We're also just tanky enough that healing isn't as important early because enemies just don't do enough damage to us yet that we really need the healing, but that will very quickly change in the next couple waves, so we're going to need to fix that soon. Laser turret for 31. This is probably worth it, I think. Even without any engineering or construct attack speed, it'll pay off. Okay, we got really lucky, got a free pearl here. We'll take a defective steroids, and then I'm going to reroll this. We can definitely get a level 2 or higher upgrade. 12 speed is the same as 6 melee damage, but also gives us movement speed. So I think I will buy that. I'm happy to go up to as high as 50% movement speed, but I'll probably stop buying move speed there, even if it gives me damage. Just because if you start moving too fast, it can be hard to dodge elites and stuff. I don't want to put too much pressure on my old man hands. I'm going to pick up the Quarterstaff and another one, and Banner is an excellent find. Attack speed and range are both good for this character. We're very happy with a lure as well. Although I picked up the laser turret when it was cheap in a box, I'm not going to buy a normal turret here. We have no way to set enemies on fire. On the other hand, so I had this situation come up fairly recently with the Greek fire, where it didn't do anything to buy it, so I passed on it. On the other hand, in this scenario, although we have no way to set enemies on fire with the Greek fire, we are going to struggle to kill elites, and we have a lot of shops between now and our first elite to find a scared sausage or an incendiary turret. So I think it is worth it in this spot to buy Greek fire. It is obviously a completely speculative item, but the thing that this character is going to have trouble with is killing elites. That's the hole that we still have to patch, because our healing is not good enough to survive the elites easily, and our damage is dealt our damage isn't bad, but we attack really slow and we have to move constantly or we'll get popped in one shot by the elites, so we can't easily focus damage. Greek Fire, if it works out, solves a real problem that this build has. So in this case, it's worth buying, even though in my, I forget which character it was, but recently in a video, I passed this item in a similar spot, but the scenarios are actually very different. I'm going to reroll past the Gummy Berserker because I don't want to lose armor. We'll take Banner and we'll take Whetstone as well, just efficient healing. Even when we attack this slow, the extra lifesteal is very valuable. So, of course, it is very possible that we don't find an incendiary turret, don't find a scared sausage, and the Greek Fire is useless. But locking the item, we didn't even have to buy it yet, so we have a couple looks. If there's other stuff that we need to buy more, we can always just unlock it. So locking the item for one shop is a fairly low cost for a potentially very high value outcome. And if in this wave I get like an item in a box that changes my calculus, like I think that we won't have trouble killing elites all of a sudden if we get an item that will help significantly with that, then we can just pass on the Greek Fire because it will no longer be solving a problem that the build has. And of course, since this is a lure wave, we are likely to get a decent number of boxes and have a good chance of finding other items that we might want. Energy Bracelet. So I could buy this, even though we only crit for 1.5x. It's still, the base damage of our weapons are not bad, so I think I will still take the Energy Bracelet. Also works well if we happen to find Tentacle or Hunting Trophy. Community Support is excellent. Armor is, of course, a real problem for the build, but attack speed is our real challenge. And I'll still take the Campfire, even at the cost of 1 melee damage, because regen is just that important for us right now. Let's pick up 10% attack speed, and we will reroll here and take 9 dodge. Now we're at 20% dodge. Take the Banner and the Whetstone, and I think we will buy the Greek Fire. I kind of have to make this decision now, but I don't believe that spending 200 on a dead item at this point will cost us particularly next wave, and we still have a lot of waves that we can potentially find a combo with this item for later on. I could get a free reroll here, though the free reroll is less valuable because we have Spyglass. Let's take a look at our Spyglass as well. We've saved 20 material on Spyglass. We bought it 6 waves ago. So this is why I say that Spyglass is typically a pretty weak item, because it just takes so long to pay off. It does give me an even amount of melee damage. We don't really care about the knockback at all, but it does give us an even amount of melee damage, so it'll actually increase our damage with our scaling. Though our scaling does increase as we level Quarterstaff, so I think I will just buy the Boxing Glove here. Okay, the Tentacle is a nice find because we did actually build a little crit chance, and we still need a lot of healing, so we're definitely going to take that. Terrified Onion I'm not going to take because I really don't want to lose luck. Once we've started buying pearls, we definitely want to buy more pearls, and Clover is good to make those pearls good. And then I'll reroll once here. How bad is it to buy the Celery Tea? It's a lot of XP, which is great with Quarterstaffs, of course. Enemies will have double health next wave, which is dangerous, but our weapons hit pretty hard. I think we can get away with it, and we'll get a lot of levels from the Horde wave here. It is quite risky with the ribcage enemies, but we're very fast, so even though we have no knockback, we should still be able to stay ahead of them long enough to kill them. Starfish is really dangerous. The damage multiplier works with the Speedy's lower armor to just like one-shot you. So we're going to pass on Starfish here. We're already getting past the Horde wave, so obviously it's a lot of money. The Starfish would be really nice to have, but the only thing that this character really needs is just defensive stats, and our economy is in great shape already, so Starfish is just too risky a purchase. I've said this before, I think, but Starfish is an item that I thought was just absolutely incredible when I saw it the first time, and that I've actually been lowering my assessment of significantly over time, because 15% extra enemy damage is super, super dangerous. It just puts you past the breakpoints where enemies kill you in fewer attacks so frequently, especially against elites. And again, this character's only problem is going to be fighting elites, so the starfish is going to be, is one that we want to pass on. Also, I need to remember I have the Greek Fire, so I don't just automatically pass Scared Sausage or Incendiary Turret, so I have to, like, fix that in my mind here. Losing 8 luck, super painful when we've got all these pearls, of course, but the HP and regen are still really good. We'll take 6 dodge, and then, yep, just more attack speed is always excellent. I don't need elemental damage for any reason. Even if we get Scared Sausage, it'll just be for the Greek Fire. We'll buy Clover and Pearl here. We will take a Scar. I could take Mastery. Our damage scaling with melee damage does increase, so let's go ahead and buy that. And obviously, normally we would be very happy to see the Torch, because we would be able to set enemies on fire for the Greek Fire with it. So if we had Greek Fire in a normal, non-random weapon run, then we would just buy the one Torch in order to use this effect. Obviously, this is a random weapon run, so we can't do that. I'm going to take the plant here and the fertilizer. And pile of books. Do we want pile of books? We don't have... We've got the one structure, and we have Tentacle, which does use crit chance, but I think 3% is still too expensive to spend that much on. So we have a couple speculative or kind of dead items in this build, which may pay off. The bonus luck damage, we just haven't found that much luck, so our baby elephants and pearls and stuff are not as efficient as they could be. And obviously the Greek Fire is completely dead until we find something to go with it, but I've already talked through the reasoning on that one. All right, let's see. Spicy Sauce, pretty nice one. Cursed Treasure Map, an incredible find, as always. This is not a super high roll on the curse on the treasure map. Oh, nice, a free pearl as well. Super happy to see all of those things. So now with, how many pearls do I have? Is it 4? Yeah, so 15 luck is actually a lot of percent damage as well, but armor and regen are really important to this character. I think our damage is high enough that I still just want the armor. Luck would be amazing, but armor is so critical. And I'll take 12% damage here. We will then pick up... the snake would be nice if we, again, had a way to trigger burning. But we'll pick up bag and coffee. I'll take baby gecko as well. And we'll roll here. Lighthouse doesn't do anything. Peaceful bee... I lose a melee damage, but the dodge is really nice, so we will buy that. Even at the cost of minus 1% XP gain, Feather is also really nice. Roll here. I could take Ugly Tooth. It costs me movement speed, which costs me melee damage, but that will help slow the bosses. Given that this character moves so fast, though, I just don't think that's that important. So we'll take a Mastery. We will pick up another Peaceful Bee. Sunken Bell could give me a panic button, but we don't have a Horde Wave left or anything like that, so I'm going to roll past it, and we'll take Shady Potion and Metal Plate. I'm not that excited about Compass, so we're going to pass on that. Still no luck on the Greek Fire, and it's looking very possible that our damage will just be high enough that we won't have needed it anyways. So maybe that was a mistake, or at least didn't work out, but it'll be interesting to see whether we get value from that purchase. I think because it is attempting to solve the only problem that we had at the time, that was still the correct purchase, but we found a lot of defensive stats between now and then, so it will not be as important because we won't need to kill the elite. We still probably will struggle to kill an elite with this build as it currently stands, but we now have enough defensive stats that we can just run away from it fairly easily in most, with most elites at least. Here, Strange Book, we don't have any use for engineering, so we're going to go ahead and recycle that. I'll take a beanie because it's free. I'm going to take 10 luck here over 3 lifesteal because we have a lot of pearls, which are obviously great. Lure, Metal Plate, and Shady Potion, amazing. Coral we really don't want for this character because when you stand still, you lose 100 armor. Fairy is awesome. That is 20 regeneration, which completely solves our last remaining problem for this character. Injection and Cute Monkey are also both really nice, so let's take the Injection and we'll lock the Cute Monkey. Actually, no, the Injection was cheaper, so I wouldn't have been able to reroll anyways. If there was one of those that let me throw in a reroll there, it would have been the right one to buy, but neither of them would have. In theory, I could have bought the Injection and Cute Monkey and not the Fairy, but Wave 14 is the wave where we're most likely to lose, so finding the Fairy for this wave helps, again, prevent that. And in a scenario like this, where we're playing an extremely strong character with a strong weapon, the goal is to minimize our chances of losing in sort of random ways, because if all else being equal, if the game just proceeds in a sort of natural way, we like buy normal items, do normal things, and don't run headfirst into enemies over and over again, then we'll win. Because this character is just on track to winning based on the character and weapon combination already. So my goal is just to not mess that up. I just need to make sure that I don't get way off track and that I minimize the scenarios in which something weird happens and we fall off the path and don't win. I'll take 2 melee damage here. We'll keep buying lifesteal. I'm definitely recycling scope. Do I want 9 HP, 10 attack speed? I could also roll for regen or something like that. Dodge or armor would be really good. I think I'm going to reroll this. 10 attack speed is pretty tempting, but we have 70 already. And for lifesteal, not that exciting, to be honest. But if I get enough lifesteal, then it can start being pretty reliable. So we'll just pick it up. We'll take Cute Monkey as well. Flaming Brass Knuckles, another way to light enemies. Okay, we got the Incendiary Turret. So the Greek Fire will help us kill elites. Amazing that this did work out. We'll see how much it contributes to us actually killing the elite faster. Ice Cube, sadly, doesn't work with Incendiary Turret, so we can't do that. Terrified Onion cost me 5 luck, but since we have Fairy, I'm going to take it anyways, and we'll take the Injection. So Ice Cube doesn't work with Incendiary Turret because it's not elemental damage, even though it's burning damage. We'll reroll here. Baby Squid, even this late, still good. We have a lot of XP gain. And Stone Skin, I just don't need more max HP, so I'm going to pass on it. So I want to pull the elite over towards the Incendiary Turret if we can. There we go. So now it should start taking a lot of damage from the burning ticks, at least. And we'll have to see how much damage the Greek Fire has done at the end of this wave. And whether it was at all significant in killing the elite. Alright, so we got the elite. Definitely didn't need the Greek Fire, but it dealt a decent amount of damage, I think, while we weren't hitting it, and just made the whole process a little cleaner and smoother. So I think I'm pretty happy with how that whole sequence worked out since we found the Incendiary Turret. And again, there's a world in which our build is just not as strong at this point as we are currently, where we've just not found items that are as good as we have found. So in that case, we'd be very happy that we had the extra way to kill an elite. Definitely Panda is amazing. We're taking that, and we'll take 9 dodge here. Now we're at dodge cap. I could take 4 armor. I could take 20 luck. Armor, I think the only way that we sort of lose this run is just by taking like 4 hits in a row. So I just want to pick up the armor and make sure that that can't happen anymore. We'll take Baby Squid. If we didn't have community support, I would strongly consider this small magazine. Because 10 attack speed is better than 6 damage for us by quite a bit. I could also buy Pile of Books. I think we still don't want it. Let's reroll here. To buy 1 regen with the lens. I'm definitely taking Vigilante Ring. And I think I will spend 58 on 1 regen. We'll buy a Quarterstaff. Boxing Glove, I don't really need anymore. And we'll reroll again. Okay, Silver Bullet. Well, now the Greek Fire is useless because Silver Bullet kind of does the same thing. Oh yeah, let's check the damage. So 3k damage from the Greek Fire last wave. Obviously some of that not on the Elite, but most of it was. And so that's a pretty significant contributor. That's basically like half a weapon. It was sort of like 1 to 2 extra weapons, because obviously a lot of the weapon damage we dealt last wave was not to the Elite. So the Greek Fire did, in fact, work out pretty well. Goblet, another great way to heal. Bone Dice is a little too late. Alien Eyes we don't really need. Let's go to the next wave. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the Greek Fire pick, given that we found the Incendiary Turret. You can kind of think of an item like that as just buying a 7th or 8th weapon slot in Elite Waves, and that's a pretty good purchase, of course. At this point, our defensive stats are so good that we can kind of just run around and not really care what's happening. We can just face tank most of these enemies. So I'm going to keep buffing up my armor a little bit and my regeneration where appropriate, but mostly from this point we're focusing on damage because, again, oh no, I didn't see that loot alien till the end of the wave. Again, we just want to make sure that we are killing enemies before we just take random damage and get popped. Another Silver Bullet, of course, we're very happy with, and more attack speed is great. We're going to go ahead and buy a Quarterstaff, Silver Bullet, and Goblet here. We'll take a Lost Duck as well, and then do a reroll. Don't need the Snail for any reason. Quarterstaff. Nail doesn't do anything for us. We have negative engineering, so it's just such a tiny damage increase. We could have had Lighthouse plus Nail, but that is a speculative item combo that we had no need for. So it's a different scenario from the Greek Fire one, where you buy... Some people, I think, buy Lighthouse every time they see it in case they find Nail, but that's spending a lot of money on, like, 4 melee damage that you might not even get, which is not a good purchase. But I do see that suggestion somewhat frequently. Similarly, when you have Nail or Frozen Heart, you will often see people suggesting that you buy I'll often see people suggesting I buy engineering or elemental damage for those items, and almost always it's a terrible ratio. Because a 10% scaling on Frozen Heart, buying 10 elemental damage is like buying 1 melee damage. So there's no way that you can get that for a reasonable amount of money, rather than just re-rolling and buying melee damage instead. Here I'm gonna re-roll, and we will... I could just take 12 max HP. We really don't need more max health, but I guess it's a level 4 upgrade. I'm gonna take the Scarf for sure. We are going into an Elite wave, but I'm not that worried about increasing the Elite's movement speed. We're really fast, so we can catch up to it, or keep ahead of it if we need to. I'll take Sunglasses to try to kill it a little bit faster. We'll lock a Quarterstaff. Improved Tools is really nice with our Incendiary Turret. It'll help make sure the bosses are always on fire. We'll buy a Baby Gecko. No, I don't really need it this late. Picking up... No, I guess I have... I changed my mind twice. But we have double Baby Elephant, so the Baby Gecko is actually pretty nice. I don't really want the Beanie. The melee damage would be good, but we don't really need it because I don't want to get too fast and then potentially run into a scenario where my reflexes are not good enough to stay ahead of the bosses. You can see here that increasing enemy movement speed makes it very difficult to avoid taking hits. But luckily we're strong enough that that's not a big issue at this point. I will say it's nice to get a really strong run after a series of runs where we were really weak, because for this video I've been able to focus a lot more on giving like general strategic advice and focus on our decisions, rather than just having to stress all the time about making the perfect purchasing choices or my movement. So it's easier for me to give like interesting tips and stuff in this because we just have a much easier time not dying randomly. Take the regen potion. Of course, it's regen neutral because we lose 3 from the fairy but gain 3 from the potion. But then it doubles our regen when we're below half, which is when you want it. Take another lure. I will take the wings here. It's just too good to pass at this point. And then we're going to go ahead and pick up more attack speed because you always need more attack speed on this character. We don't need the gambling token. Let's reroll. Let's take a look at our spyglass as well. So 109, we spent like 40 on the spyglass, right? So we're at wave 18. It's just doubled what we spent on it. And double what you spend on an economy item is usually when it sort of pays off. So you can see why I, again, don't think that spyglass is very strong, because we waited 15 waves for it to sort of pay back the money that we spent on it. And materials now are worth way less than materials then. This ended up being an even worse spyglass than normal because we got pretty lucky shops, so we just didn't re-roll that frequently. I'm going to take the goldfish here, and I could re-roll and try to lock, but let's wait, actually, and then we can use a goldfish re-roll on wave 20, where we're most likely to find cool level 4 items, and that'll be fun. We won't have the goldfish effect in our next shop. It will take place next time we hit the reroll button, so we're going to do that. We will probably try not to buy too many expensive things in the first shop unless we get really cool items, because then we can use the goldfish. Also, the goldfish purchase there is not good. It's just for fun, because the run's, you know, completely won. Get those loot alien kills and pick up a few trees if we can as well. Got that loot alien also. And 15 or 5 crates, 15 crates would be a lot better. 5 crates is really nice. I'll take the baby gecko just for the range here. We will pick up the coupon, I guess. Another silver bullet, amazing. Free pearl, great. More % damage, more melee damage. We're recycling wheelbarrow, of course. And then here, I'm just going to reroll this. I feel like we can do better. Take 8% damage because I just want to kill the bosses as soon as possible. Plastic explosives doesn't do anything, so let's reroll here. Jetpack, I guess, gives us a bunch of damage. Let's just take these items because they all give us damage. Rip and tear doesn't matter against the bosses. Lucky charm, because we have, how many pearls do we have? Like, it's only 5 at this point, but still the lucky charm's going to be damage positive for us. And then we will take a gentle alien as well, % damage and more enemies to drop consumables and stuff. So we should be in great shape. And let's go fight the bosses. So our damage is really high. We don't need the Greek fire for this fight. Though again, that's just because of how strong we got in the end game here. And there we go. That is the Speedy with the Quarterstaff. Obviously, an super strong combination. If you're struggling to win with the Speedy, honestly, I recommend this. There's probably some easier ones. Stick is probably a little bit easier, but Quarterstaff is so strong, and the medieval weapon tag offsets the Speedy's like main disadvantage, which is the minus armor. So you get a lot of bonuses from this, and the weapon, you don't have to buy any melee damage, so it kind of scales itself. Let's take a look at our items here. We made 134 off Spyglass, so wasn't good. Even with the flimsy justification of plus 10 range, this was still not a good purchase, to be honest. I just like seeing if we can make it work. And then 675 off bags is great. 31,000 off of Baby Elephant, and 673 saved off of coupons, so really nice there. Community support was pretty incredible. Obviously, the additional attack speed, so good for a weapon like this that cares almost exclusively about attack speed to scale it. And then 14k damage from Greek Fire, not bad, honestly. We spent about 270 on this combo, and it was kind of the equivalent of 2 Baby Elephants, so it worked out, and also did help us out in that one elite, and gave us an insurance policy, which I liked given the run that we were playing. Tentacle, 28 healing, 7 items from the Cursed Treasure Map is amazing. Fairy ended up being plus 16 regeneration, which is really good, and then 19k more damage from the incendiary turret. So it's not just the Greek Fire damage, we also got the incendiary turret damage. And then triple silver bullet, so we were able to just flatten the elites in record time. Alright friends, hope that you enjoyed this run, and of course, as always, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.